welcome to this week's video. I'm going to be continuing packing in this week's video. Now, I was gonna stick with my original plan, which was to continue to break the house down into areas. So the office was gonna be next, some of the curtains and the rest of the decor around the house. Again, continuing with the original plan that we were gonna start with the less needed items and work our way towards our more needed items. Our original plan of only having 2 pods has now gone up in smoke. Okay, so a little update on where we are with packing and moving and the pods. We just had our first pod delivered yesterday. We did get the largest pod, which is a 16-foot pod, and we estimated that we would need 2 16-foot pods. When I was speaking with the initial salesman, I explained, how much stuff we had, how large our house was. He said, if you had a lot of furniture, if you're heavy on the furniture for that size house, they recommended 2 16-foot pods and a 7-foot pod. But since we didn't have, as much like full large pieces of furniture than they were expecting, they said 2 16-foot pods would probably be enough. So the first one came, does not look like it's going to be enough for all of our stuff. Is it all gonna fit?
Half of our house? I think this is gonna fit half our house.
I don't know. We still have a lot of stuff that we're saving from Monroe for hopefully baby number 2. My husband is really into decorating, for Halloween. So we have a lot of stuff for storage. And we just were looking at it thinking, this is just not going to be enough. 2 16-foot pods. So we reached out to Pods last night to see about getting a 3rd pod delivered. It was not fun. I guess because everybody is moving right now and they are so busy, dates and availability is filling up fast. So we were able to add a 3rd 16-foot pod. The reason we went with a 16-foot instead of a 7-foot is because there was only a $500 difference between the two. And I didn't want to run into a situation where we got the 7-foot and we found out that still wasn't enough space. So we just went for the full 16. If we're going to get a 3rd pod, you might as well just get it. And if it's, if we don't fill it, at least we're safe. But then all of our delivery dates had to change. All of our delivery dates when they give us the pods here in New Jersey, when we pack them, when they pick them up, when they ship them down to Atlanta. So it's a bit of a Jenga right now, a bit of a game of like Jenga. So our original plan was the first pod we were going to pack was going to be all of our storage, our basement, our attic storage, long-term storage, not really the stuff that we're going to need on a day-to-day basis, both just the stuff that we can kind of send down there ahead of time and get later on. Not a big deal if we're without it for 3 or 4 weeks, even a month. And then the second pod, which was going to be, loaded up right before we leave, was going to be all of our bedroom furniture, my daughter's bedroom furniture, our kitchen stuff, our dining room table, our couch, our TV, all the stuff that we want to, make sure we can set up in the new house right away. And that was going to get delivered to us 4 days later. So with the 3 days of transit from us down here and taking a couple extra days, the pod was actually supposed to get there first before us. Then we were going to have it delivered and move in. It's a perfect plan. Unfortunately, because we have added the 3rd pod to the mix, and because their scheduling has just become so insane, I guess, with so many people moving and being busy, that is no longer what's going to happen. The first pod that we are filling is actually going to have to be the first pod we get delivered down there in Georgia. So instead of it being like long-term storage stuff, we're trying now to figure out what can we put in that first pod that we can have access to right away? What can we pack up now and not have access to it while we're here these next 2 weeks here in this house so that we can have access to it right away when we're down there? And that is a really difficult dilemma, sort of really difficult situation to plan out for, because obviously we want our bed to sleep in. So we don't want to send that and be without that for 2 weeks up here. But if we don't send it in that first pod and we send it in the last pod, we're going to be without it for 2 weeks down there. No matter how we sort of look at it or how we slice it, we're going to be without most of our belongings for at least 2 weeks. So it's going to be a lot of just trying to figure out what can I pack today to send down in that first pod so that we can get access to it right away. So that's really going to be the plan. And then once I put together a couple of those things, I think I'm just going to start blowing through the rest of the house and packing as much as I can, because the goal really is to load up these first 2 pods as much as possible, because if we can cancel the third one, that would certainly save us a big chunk of money, although I think we're going to need it. So I think I'm going to do a whole video just about the pros and cons and our experience working with pods. My husband and I have moved a lot over the 13 years. We've done it ourselves. We've hired movers, but this is truly our first time using pods, or even like a pod-like system to move ourselves. And we are learning a lot as we go. So I'm definitely going to share that in the future. So if you want to be notified when that video gets released, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you are notified when that video drops. So I'm not really sure if this is going to be my last packing video, at least, before the big move and before we start loading up the pod, because we're going to be kind of doing everything simultaneously. So my initial sort of plan for videos for you guys in terms of packing has also kind of gone up in smoke. So just bear with me. I'm not sure how it's going to play out over the next few videos, but I will show you as much as I can and hopefully give you guys a lot of packing motivation as well. If you are somebody that's watching this video because you are going to be packing and getting ready for an upcoming move. So I hope this helps motivate you. So let's get packing. Thank you so much for being here this week and clicking on this video. I really appreciate you. If you're new here, I forgot to mention my name. It is Samantha, and if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I'll give you a little context. My family and I are actually in the process of relocating from central New Jersey down to the Atlanta, Georgia area. Today's video is going to be all the kitchen. So I know I had mentioned how everything sort of got messed up in terms of my original packing plans, but this is going to be all the kitchen. So my goal in this video is to pack up as much of the kitchen as I possibly can. And at the end of this, you'll see I will be leaving the bare essentials. So I'll be leaving, the basic things that we're going to need over the next couple of weeks to cook and to have some meals, and, what we're going to need in terms of just basic necessities. And I'm just going to pack up everything else that I can pack up in this kitchen to get it loaded up into the pod. Is not a fun process by any means. One of the advantages of packing is really being able to go through and declutter a lot of your stuff. I think I had mentioned this in a previous video, but if I hadn't, even just going through the spice cabinet, I'm able to kind of go through and get rid of, things that are old or expired or that I just never used, or something that we bought and didn't like and I don't know why I'm hanging on to it. It really gives me an excuse and a reason to kind of clean everything out. So that is a positive when it comes to packing and moving. So I thought I would just share this real quickly because if I'm feeling like this, I'm sure there are some of you out there that are feeling like this as well. If you are in the middle of a huge move like we are, and you are feeling very overwhelmed by what needs to be done, the packing, the cleaning, the sorting, the organizing, just know that if you're feeling very overwhelmed, you're not alone. This entire process is very overwhelming. Sometimes I just stand in a room staring, looking around, trying to figure out what to pack, like where do I even start? So my piece of advice is just grab a box, open up a cabinet or a drawer or a door to a closet and just start packing it. I find that even when I'm overwhelmed and totally unmotivated to do something, once I pack, my first cabinet or my drawer and I see that it's empty, or a shelf in a closet and I see that it's empty, it really helps to get me motivated to keep going and keep moving forward to continue packing on the rest. If what I keep telling myself is not the end of the world. If I pack something and we happen to need it, we'll just force us to be creative. If I pack something here and I need it for cooking, well then I'll just, improvise and figure it out. And the same thing, if we, wait to pack something here and we don't have it down at the new house, we'll just make it work. It's not the end of the world. Whatever we need, it's not going to be super important that we can't live without it. So really just my advice is really just to get started. Tape up a box, grab an empty box, get started, open up a drawer, start putting stuff in, and you will find that the more you do it, the more your motivation will come. So today I'm going to finish packing up as much as I can from the kitchen. Again, sorting through what I don't want to pack up just yet because I'm going to need it for cooking and different things like that versus what I can already pack up. The plan is to start loading the pod. I would like to start loading it today, to be quite honest, but my husband's still really busy with work. So tomorrow, most likely, and the bulk of the loading of the pod is going to be on Saturday. So I just have to dry a couple of these dishes before I start packing. I won't bore you with sitting through all of this, and then we're going to get packing underway. So I mentioned earlier, we have moved a lot. So I have learned a little bit of tips and tricks that have worked for us. So certain things, like you see me here unpacking the plates. And I know you can go out and you can buy specific foam that's pre-cut for plates. And that tends to be a little bit more expensive. What I do is I take an existing roll of packing, like these packing foam sheets or bubble wrap, and then I just cut them to size for bowls and plates and whatever I need. I mean, you saw earlier in the video, I cut them really tiny for glass bowls. I just buy a big roll and then I cut them to whatever size I need. I find that that's a little bit more cost effective than going out and buying the ones that are all already pre-cut and pre-sized to specific dishes because they're all very generic and they're quite expensive. The other piece of advice I want to give out to anybody out there that is looking for some motivation around packing, because packing is a very daunting process, and if you are looking for something to get yourself motivated to pack, put on music. So we have our Alexa here in the kitchen, and I have her blasting music that is getting my heart rate up, music that is making me excited. Put on whatever music speaks to you. Is there music that you like to sing along with? Is there music you like to dance with? Is there a specific band that's your favorite band? Something that gets your blood flowing and gets you up out of your seat and moving. That's the kind of music you want to be listening to while you're packing, because that's going to help keep you moving. And if you're not sure what that music is, well then hopefully the music in this video is enough to get you up and moving. So throw this video up on your device, your phone, your tablet, your computer, or even your TV, and pack along with me, and hopefully the music in this video will be motivating for you. things I did not mention in that PODS update, which I will go into a little bit more in depth in that sort of pod pros and cons experience video that I had mentioned, is that even though we spent a couple hours on the phone with PODS customer service, rearranging our entire schedule of the drop off and pickup dates of the 3 different pods, I had to actually call PODS customer service again for another reason. And it was a good thing I did, because they had actually mixed up all of the dates, and had I not called them back to double check on something, we actually wouldn't have gotten our next pickup and delivery on the dates I was expecting. So far we have not had that great of an experience with their customer service. It seems to be a lot of confusion over there on deadlines and dates and scheduling, and it just seems every time I have to call them, we are on the phone with them for several hours. It does not seem to be a very quick process on the phone with customer service, but that has just been our experience with them so far. But like I said, I'll share a little bit more in depth with all of that in a future video. Okay, here's everything from the kitchen. I've got 4 medium boxes and 12 small boxes, including the 2 at the top. So that's not everything from the kitchen. Like I said, I'm gonna leave some stuff there. So I think that's it for this round of packing the kitchen. I think I've done a really good sweep of the whole room, and I've packed up just enough so we have access to it at the new house to be able to cook a little bit, and I left enough stuff that we can cook here as well. I think it's kind of a good balance. So that's gonna wrap up packing the kitchen. Thanks for watching.